The big story. The big story. The big story. The big story.
That's right, Joe Piscopo. And there she is, Caroline Leavitt. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Let's get into Caroline Leavitt and a little topic that we can discuss. She is from New Hampshire, I am sad to say, and it's disappointing to think that she can continue this absolute charade, you might say. Looking back at the old suspense films, charade. Yeah, it's really sad that she can continue this charade, and I want to get into this. We're talking about, as we saw on the billboard, this continuation of the U.S. government going after members of the U.S. government. I know it is strange. It does seem to echo what Frederick Bastiat said about the state, that great fiction by which everyone tries to live off of everyone else. So everyone's in there arguing and fighting. The fur is flying. The tigers are attacking. Not angry tiger. Well, let me get into this because I think it's important to start the program off with this because so many people are going to be seeing family members, and you might have some members who are in the military. And oftentimes people say, you know, thank you for your service, all these different things. Well, what exactly is that service supposed to be? Nobody can even seem to figure this out. This shows you how screwed up the state is. Everybody seems to have a different perspective, despite the fact that it's very clear when the members of the military actually take their oaths. So let me give you this from the news notes for the genetically superior paid subscribers at my Substack, of course. The FBI actually is, get this, probing into the 6 Democrat legislators who advised regarding lawful orders. Incredible. And I don't know if you've been, you know how on Rumble, they'll have Crowder will pop up. They have certain people who are on the streams like Tim Pool and Crowder and so on and so forth. They're so off base. They're so completely bereft of any clue about this. And it's so easy to understand. They're saying, well, yeah, they're not following the orders. What are you talking about? I just followed the orders? Okay, sure. You just keep marching around the camp. Not a problem. It's not a war crime in any way whatsoever. It's a total excuse to say I was just following orders. Remember that now. Yeah, the Nazis, they had a great time with this. So let me show you this FBI story. FBI probes congressional Democrats who warned military about illegal orders. It's in the oath. Let me just ask Caroline Leavitt. If, say, somebody like Senator Kelly had gotten up there and said, here, let me just read you the oath. Would the FBI now be wasting more money on this? Just amazing. It's stunning. It's like I keep getting hit in the face. There he is. There's the video. We saw it. Washington, Dateline Washington, November 25th from Reuters. The FBI has requested interviews. It's all for show. With 6 Democrat members of the U.S. Congress who in a video message told members of the military they can legally refuse to carry out unlawful orders. Duh! They're supposed to. Why is this a controversy? It just baffles me. I don't even understand. Maybe you're the same as I am. I'm sitting here like, what's the problem? This is what the commanders tell. A Justice Department official told Reuters on Tuesday. The Pentagon on Monday threatened to recall Senator Mark Kelly, a Navy veteran and one of the 6 lawmakers. I hate that term. It's statute writers. Law comes from God. To active duty, potentially to face military charges over what Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth described on social media as seditious acts. And again, I don't understand this. Maybe somebody in the military can explain it to me. I thought he was retired. There's no conscription, is there? He's done. They haven't done any conscription. You have to sign up for it. But how does that work? Once you retire, can they just call you, hey, we wanted you to come back? Sorry, I'm out. I don't understand. Jason Barker, if you're in the audience, you've retired, right? Can they call you back? And then when they call you back, can they say, now we want you to get jabbed? I don't understand. This is so crazy. Maybe I'm not doing enough research. President Donald Trump, whom who critics have said, it's supposed to be whom critics have said, sought to harness the power of the government to try to stifle dissent, accused the 6 Democrats of sedition. No, Donald, you're the one who has engaged in unlawful acts with the military, unconstitutional acts with the military, both extrajudicial murder, contrary to the Constitution and contrary to law. The Justice Department, they say, by the way, it's a crime punishable by death. Of course it is. The Justice Department official who spoke on condition of anonymity said the FBI interviews with the lawmakers were to determine if there's any wrongdoing and then go from there. Any wrongdoing by whom? By them? Do they not have free speech, even if they're wrong? The FBI is headed by Trump appointee Kash Patel. And he's doing such a good job, he's definitely got to devote attention to this. In a memo made public on Tuesday, Hegseth referred Kelly to the Secretary of the Navy for potentially unlawful comments made in the video last week. Hegseth in the memo said he wanted a brief on the outcome of the review by December 10th. But Kelly's not in the Navy anymore. He's retired. Every aspect of this, I just don't even grasp. It's just, maybe it's the same thing for you. Maybe that part about the military, I don't understand. My dad was in the Navy. He was in World War II. When he was retired, he was done. See you later. All done. Bye-bye. There's no war. You can't just call. I don't understand. And besides that, that's so beyond what the founders had. They didn't even want a standing army. The army is supposed to be us, the militia, the citizens, until there is a declaration of war, and then the militia can be called up under the president's command as commander-in-chief. That's all. It's just nuts. So now we'll turn to this wondrous moment from Caroline Levitt.
Go ahead, they can't answer the question, Martha, because there is no answer. They can't identify illegal orders because there are no illegal orders.
Can you believe that? So exterminating nearly 100 people, you don't even know who they are. You accuse them of breaches of drug statutes themselves, which are unconstitutional. You engage in extrajudicial murder. You don't ask for extradition or accuse anybody of a crime. You don't even identify them. You don't ask for the 2 guys who escaped to be extradited for prosecution. Then inside the states, you kidnap people, don't give them due process. When a judge tells you, hey, don't take off with that plane and fly to El Salvador, you still take off. And you ship weapons to Israel and Ukraine and money to Israel and Ukraine without any declaration of war. So there are technically no allies, no adversaries. How is any possibility of there being any aspect of this, any tiny facet of this at all reasonable, normal, or sane, let alone constitutional and then lawful? And again, the oath is not lawful. It's protect and defend the United States Constitution. Therefore, you're supposed to read it. And if they ask you to do things that are unconstitutional, you have free will. You use your agency. You're not a pawn. And you say, no, thank you. I'm done. Bye-bye. Wow.
They were suggesting, again, to the 1.3 million active duty service members in the military today that if you think an order is illegal, you don't have to follow it. Actually, that's against the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It explicitly states, and I want to read this language precisely, that service members have a legal obligation under the U.S. UCMJ to obey lawful orders, and that orders are presumed to be lawful.
Now, right there, when she says, and that orders are presumed to be lawful, that is not true. That is not true. Orders are not presumed to be lawful. That's not true. If you look at the UCMJ, not all orders are presumed to be lawful. Again, you're not a robot. You can look it up. She looked up from the page as she said, they're presumed to be lawful. No, not always are they presumed to be lawful. That's the point. And that's what they're trying to get away with. And again, it's not lawful. The UCMJ runs counter to the U.S. Constitution when it only mentions lawful. And they're trying to be selective on that level as well, because the oath of military members is clear. Protect and defend the United States Constitution, which is exactly what the president, the vice president, the members of the House, the members of the Senate, and everyone who works for the United States government and every subordinate agency of government, the state and the towns and the cities, they all swear those oaths.
Have a soldier out on the battlefield or conducting a classified order, questioning whether that order is lawful or whether they should follow through. There must be a chain of command in our military, and Republicans and Democrats for decades, since the beginning of our country, have always respected that until now when the Democrat Party has been completely overtaken by Trump derangement syndrome, and now we have these deranged statements from sitting members of Congress.
Boy, she's just going to load it up with as many terms to get as favorable a reaction from the MAGA crowd as possible, isn't she? Is that what she's going to do? Trump derangement syndrome. What other little bon mots can we throw out there to try to attract the positive vibes of all those people who are so pro-MAGA? And why is it that you have 1.3 million active members of the military at a time when the United States government is not at war? Is there a possible problem there? I think there is. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to the regulations and uniform code of military justice, so help me God. So what comes first, Caroline? It's not tough to frigging figure out. I don't like being insulted. I don't like being treated like a carpet. And I certainly don't like being treated like a fund for your wars. You play games with people. You treat us like we're batteries. We're human beings. Unbelievable. Just incredible. Now, of course, the Uniform Code of Military Justice is hundreds of pages long. You can read over. I've read a ton of it today. I was really tired today. Unbelievable. Incredible. Let me get your thoughts on this before we hop over. Hey, Ferb, with the word. Ferb. Awesome. I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to the sauces, brother. I cannot wait. You posted a video with some chicken wings on it today. I know I shouldn't be talking about it on a political program or whatever, but we cover a lot of other stuff. Oh, man, Ferb. The smooth foods are going to be so good when those things come out. I want to say welcome and hello and thank you to everybody inside Rumble. Thanks for being there, one and all. Tony Garrett is there. Harry Hart is there. Jason Barker is there, as well as Karen Carpenter, who right off the bat started the program with a contribution. That is going to be so awesome. I can't wait. I cannot wait to tell my friends Karen Carpenter gave me the thumbs up like that. Because you're awesome, Karen. And people love you on Nights of the Storm. Because you're awesome. Thanks, Karen. I really appreciate it. Dustin, thanks for being there, man. Really appreciate you being in there. Handy, got to say hi earlier. Handy, great to see you, brother. Really great to see you. And he says, Jason says, I am indefinite status because I am retired. Others who are cannot be recalled. I suspect that I could decline, but would lose all my retirement benefits if I did so. You nailed it right what I was wondering about, man. So glad I scrolled up. I mean, the Russians, my brain chip. There you go. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that, but I'm just disgusted. You know, you don't have to be egotistical to know that you've got a brain, right? We are all, every human being is pretty darn smart. I say it a lot. We apply ourselves on all sorts of different things, right? So somebody who's a carpenter knows tons of stuff about carpentry. Somebody who's a plumber knows tons about plumbing. Somebody who's into astrophysics, I almost went in astrophysics, they ended up knowing a ton more than I do, right? When it comes to this stuff, it's pretty easy to figure it out. And it doesn't take long to check it. And we've been raised in an atmosphere that unfortunately should give us the opportunity. It should give us the opportunity to explore these things, but has been manipulated and massaged, and the words have been watered down so that they can do anything they want. What they're doing is trying to support the chain of command. That's what they're doing. That was the point where she got. You saw that at the end of that video. You can't question the chain of command. You certainly frigging can, and you're supposed to, Caroline. That's the point about the oath. Otherwise, it would say, follow orders. All set. Do you see the difference? Do you grasp that? Or are you busy concentrating on other things? Because you're not stupid. So don't treat us like we're stupid. It's infuriating to see the way these people act around other people who know a heck of a lot better. Because we actually care. We care about things other than political promotion and winning the next friggin' election. We care about spreading ideas and devoting ourselves to principles, because we're not here long, Caroline. Man, absolutely infuriating. That has got to be one of the most disgusting things in history that I've seen in the past 50 years, right there. The very battle about the Constitution is manifest right in front of you, right there. The simplest little thing that these people say, and they're blowing it up, flipping it completely over. That's what I said on X. I'm like, she's got it completely flipped. Justin Amash commented on it. He's like, she's insane or something like that. He's like, no, she's completely wrong. He wasn't at the insane level, but it's so stupid. It's so dumb. In the meantime, they keep funneling weapons all over the place, like the United States is at war. They've used NATO as their proxy. Let's go into that. Let's talk about warfare now, everybody. Let's talk about the status of where things stand for Ukraine, as Marco Rubio seems to be more devoted to promoting the war between Ukraine and Russia than he is upholding his oath to his little constitution, which can fit in his pocket.